Hi guys, welcome to the webinar. If someone is watching me, please say hello in the chat box on the side. Hello, I can see a few people watching. How are you doing, guys? Say hello and tell me where you're from. Where are you watching today? I'm gonna wait a few more minutes to see if more people are gonna join today. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I don't see anyone typing. Hi, Maria. Where are you from? Oh, great. You can hear me. Awesome. Let's see if someone else is joining us. Hello, if you just joined, say your name, say where you're from. Nice, LA. Awesome. We're gonna wait for 2 more minutes and we'll begin. Boris is here too. Interesting. How bad is the video delay? Am I all jiggly? Can you hear me? Can you see me okay? That's my worst nightmare, to have like the screen frozen and not be able to speak. All right, let's begin. My name is Anya Perry. I'm the owner of The Primal Force. I'm a nutrition coach, and today we're going to be talking about grains. We'll discuss a few items, and if you stay till the very end, I have a nice bonus for you or for one of your friends or family members. So stay till the end. We'll take about 40 minutes and we'll have some time for question and answers. I'm going to share my screen with you. And we'll begin. Awesome. Maria says there's no delay. Great. Can you see my screen now? Can't see me anymore, but you were supposed to see my screen. And if you guys just joined, we're about to start the presentation and we will talk about how to say goodbye to grains, how to eat well and feel awesome. Now, if you're just joining, just make sure to say where you're from. And if you're at work at home, and I should go to talk to your boss because this is important stuff. You need to be here. If you'd like to share on social media, you can use hashtag #ThePrimalForce. And if you'd like to see me to see your pictures or posts, you can hashtag #ThePrimalForce too. Awesome, we have no delays, great. And as I mentioned before, if you stay till the end to find out what it is, you'll need to stay with me. So you're in the right place if you want to learn more about nutrition and if you'd like to know in particular whether the grains are good for you or not. You're in the right place if you tried every diet out there and you still don't get the results you want to have, whether it's weight loss or weight gain, muscle building, whether you're fighting inflammation all the time, you get sick often, if you have digestion problems or hormonal problems. Also, if you'd like to have more energy, you're in the right place. We will talk about it. You still want to enjoy your food? Oh, yes. You want to improve your digestion, your skin and bone health, and you want to have the clarity of mind. If you'd like to prevent inflammation and never age, also never have chronic disease, and you also would like to be fit, that's the right place for you. Just stay with me. We'll learn more. So who am I? My name is Anya Perry. You can see these wonderful pictures of me, different places doing different stuff. I love coffee and I love challenges. I really tried to lift up that rock on the left, but I did not handle it well. And picture on the right, it's me in Mammoth Lakes, California, running at the elevation of 9,000 feet. That was not fun. I might look happy, but it was not fun. And picture in the middle, I actually drove out of my way for 5 hours to see this beauty, the Horseshoe Bend. My story, I'd like to share a little bit with you. I was a vegetarian for 10 years and I immigrated to the United States 7 years ago. So majority of my life here, I was a vegetarian. I was a smoker and I was a smoker heavily. I mean, I would smoke 20 to 30 cigarettes a day. I was a carb and junk food addict. I would eat grilled cheese for lunch when I was a student here, and I would eat dinner, something more reasonable, vegetables and probably fish or mostly vegetables. And I would top it off with a box of Cheez-Its. I mean, a box of Cheez-Its. I could not run a mile. I was not fit at all, and I could not lift more than 10, 15 pounds. Any traveling trip was a disaster for me because I could not carry heavy things. So now I enjoy these things, which is absolutely different from what I've done before. I love lifting weights. I love running. And the picture on the right shows me completing my first marathon in New York City. I absolutely loved it. It was the life-changing event. So my life changed forever once I stopped doing a few things, and that's why I'm here. I started doing something new as well, and that's why I'm here too. Here's my husband's story. There was a guy living in Florida in 2011. He worked a simple job. He didn't do much. He lived off pizza and peanut butter jelly sandwiches. He weighed 435 pounds. That was before I met him, and I met him in 2012. One day he woke up and he decided that was enough. And 2 years later, he turned into this person. He ran his first half marathon. He got married. He joined the army. He also learned the language and keeps learning another language right now. He's doing jiu-jitsu and CrossFit. He's also finishing up his degree. Quite a dramatic difference, right? So what happened to us? We chose a different lifestyle in different places in the world, and one day we woke up, and even before we knew each other, we decided that's enough. We are tired of being sick. I was anemic, I had high blood pressure, I had terrible skin issues, and he got tired of being obese and not be able to do fun things. And the picture on the right is us. We actually purchased our first home. You can see the driveway is still dirty. But that's us 2 weeks ago, doing a lot of fun things. We travel, we train a lot, and this was a turning point in our life when we met each other. We decided to build something for others. We know there are people like us. We know that people struggle, and we know how to help them. We created the Primal Force a few months ago, and we'd really like to see others succeeding. I see more people joining. Why don't you say your name? I would love to see who join us today. All right, what are you guys gonna learn today? We'll talk about greens. Why are they good for you at all? Are they bad for you? We'll talk about what happens to your body when you consume greens. We'll talk about whether you need carbohydrates to function, because we've been told so. We'll talk about how to live happily without greens. I have a question for you. What would you feel like if you were to achieve your health goal? Think about it for a second and type it in the chat box. Whether you want to lose weight or achieve anything else or try something new, how would you feel if I was to tell you your goal is pretty easy to achieve? I'm going to wait a few seconds, give you some time. I hope you guys can hear me. Hi, Eva. Thank you for joining us today. Awesome, healthy and fit and balanced. I wonder what's balanced for you, if you don't mind telling me. All right. Confident, Maria, awesome. Now, how can you use what you learned today? We'll talk about your goals a little more later. How could you use what you learned today? You could learn how to overhaul your nutrition, how to change things for the best results. You could look at what you eat from a different perspective. You might enjoy what you do more. You can start enjoying food without poisoning your body. You can also learn how not to feel overwhelmed and deprived when it comes to food, because many people say, how am I going to live without my pizza, right? I had the same question. Grains, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We heard there are four food groups, and pizza is not one of them, and beer is not the other one either. But grains supposedly have vitamins and minerals. They have the nutrients we were told they have. We have to eat them. And we were also told by USDA, FDA, AHA, any association, that carbs are essential for our living. That's what the regulations say. And we also heard that whole grains are great for you. They're much better than white processed stuff, and you should eat them. And we know once you go to a store, grains are pretty cheap and easy to make. Also, they are tasty. But you have to remember something. Grains started getting cultivated 10,000 years ago. Before that, they were much harder to eat and to digest. You would have to take a rock and mill them for hours to get anything good out of them. So people didn't have that time. They were chased by predators. They were eating very few. And dwarf wheat, the majority of the wheat in the United States right now is dwarf wheat, and it was different too. Right now, grains are highly processed. They're stripped of all the good stuff. They're very easy to digest, but they also started having offensive agents like gliadin protein and others. So what's their value? Their value is actually minimal because for a few reasons. They contain anti-nutrients, they have too many empty calories, they're stripped of good nutrients, and our genes are not adapted to eat them because over the time birds and animals got used to avoid poisonous things or their genes were adapted to eating some of them. In our case, human body is still not adjusted to eat them. Plus they affect our hormones pretty badly. What are anti-nutrients I mentioned before? Those are the agents that are present in grains. They're not supporting your body. They're not doing anything good to you, and some of them are worse than others. For example, phytates, they're present in plants and grains, and some people are okay with them. But lectin and gluten are pretty harmful. And you've heard about gluten-free foods, we'll mention them later. Those are proteins that affect your body in the most negative way. They cause a lot of trouble. They go directly to your bloodstream. They cause allergic reactions. And if you have any sensitivity, you may not even know about it unless you tested it in the lab. They will affect your digestion. They will cause chronic inflammation. And over time, because they're right in your blood, they will abuse your immune system response, and it might lead to autoimmune disease. There are also very unpleasant factors such as preventing regulation of your hormones, and you might be gaining weight or being bloated or develop insulin resistance. And it's pretty hard to regulate your appetite when you're eating foods like grains with a lot of anti-nutrients. And the symptoms I mentioned before, they can be small and they can be quite significant. Bloating and digestive issues and IBS and irritable bowel syndrome. I'm sorry, guys, I'm speaking abbreviations. Gas and heartburn and just not feeling great all the time, feeling like you're lacking energy. You need that afternoon pick me up. If you ever experienced anything like that, you can say something in the chat window. I'm not going to judge you. I felt hungry all the time. Before, I felt like I needed to eat every 2-3 hours. And that's why regulations say you should eat 2-3 hours to keep your blood sugar, right? We'll talk about it. So what happens in the long term? In the long term, it's not looking great. Many Americans have digestive issues. Many people in the world have autoimmune disease and they don't even know about it. Unless you go and test it, unless you know the symptoms and it's confirmed, you may be living with a milder form of it without knowing. And of course, the obesity epidemic. And it's ridiculous because it's 68% as of 2010. 68% of Americans are obese. Plus, there is chronic inflammation and leaky gut that is not good at all. So what happens with insulin? As I mentioned before, when you eat carbs, you have insulin production. And when you eat too many carbs, you store them as fat. So you're hungry again because your body says, well, you stored everything. I don't have anything to run off. You're hungry again. Let's eat again. You eat more. And because you'll see the picture in a bit, because you're topping off your glycogen stores, you're going to store fat and be hungry again. So you enter a vicious circle. And in a while, your body starts to develop insulin resistance because your body gets used to insulin being released into your blood all the time. But also you affect your immune system. As I said, autoimmune disease is one of the big problems that you can face in the future. But it's just overall a very unpleasant ride if you consistently have some problems, some small things, but some of them significant reproductive problems and weak immune system. My brother has been sick for years. He gets a cold every 2, 3 months. And to be honest with you, personally, when I stopped eating grains, I haven't gotten sick in 2 years. And I think then I got some virus or something that I was not responsible for 2 years, I would not get a cold. Plus, if you have no energy and you're just feeling and you gain weight, you kind of get used to it and you don't feel great. How can you look great naked? LGN is the abbreviation that Mark Sisson loves. Mark Sisson is the founder of the Primal Blueprint. That's how he looks at 63. I would love to look like him at 63, when I'm 63, just in female form. He's the founder of the concept of primal lifestyle, and my coaching and teaching is based off that mostly. And we will touch upon that a little bit later. So what happens to your body when you consume carbs? You ingest foods, they go into glucose. Your muscle and liver store glucose as glycogen. And remember, in school they say, well, you need to somehow glucose, right? You have to have some sugar. So that's any food gets converted, and we have glycogen stores, but they have a limited space. And if you see in the picture, anything that does not get stored in glycogen stores goes to fat. So what happens when you eat too many carbs? They go to fat. Plus, when you eat carbs with fat, think about it this way. Your glycogen stores work really hard. Whatever they don't burn goes to fat. But if you eat extra fat with your carbohydrates, it's like a double evil. Then we see many products in the market that recommend lowering your fat intake, but usually it means you will eat higher carb. And what happens to carbs? That's right, you got it. They go to fat. And in a way, we have body image issues in our society that we talk about accepting different shapes and forms of our bodies, but they're two different things. There's aesthetics of it and there's health of it, health part. And if we talk about excess fat, it leads to many, many problems. It leads to diabetes, it leads to inflammation, to being sick all the time, to problems and hardship of losing any weight or gaining weight for that sake. And after all, majority of heart disease is directly connected to your diet. Plus, nobody wants to age. Once you reach a certain age, you want to stay there. Are you guys still there with me? I hope you are. So why do we eat carbs? They're cheap, they're tasty, they're easy to make. They're also addictive. Mark is hot, Maria, you're awesome. I think he's hot. I think Mark is hot. Carbs are addictive and they taste really good. They're also substances added to most processed foods in the United States that make the foods from the box taste good. Why do, oh ladies, you're making me laugh. I can't speak like that. Why do we not need many carbs? There's a process in your body called gluconeogenesis that breaks down protein even if you didn't get enough of your precious carbs. You will never die from not having enough glucose. But also, once we don't have many carbs, we get fat adapted. We eat fat from the meats and fat from oils and avocados and other foods, and our body starts using fat as the main energy source. Our hormones get leveled and balanced, so we have these stores ready. We have direct energy we can use without burning anything. And if you minimize the carbs and grains, you can also minimize exposure to those extra calories, to anti-nutrients. You can reduce inflammation in your body and stop being dependent on You know, I need to have a snack. I need to have a snack every 2-3 hours. If you look at school kids, they have a snack every, what, 2-3 hours? Yeah. You can also avoid blood sugar spikes, and you'll feel much better without them. And this is a true story. Once I stopped eating sugar and grains back in 2012, I could not sleep for longer than 4 hours. And I drove my parents crazy because I came to visit and I would get up at 4 o'clock and I would go to study. And that lasted for 2 months. That's how much junk my body was processing before, and that's how awesome I felt, like flying for. And I would run all day and I would do things all day. I had so much energy. And plus, you get so much time back. You don't have to cook another meal. Your sleep gets much better too. And you'll ask me, what about my fiber? I was told that I need to have extra fiber. There's plenty of fiber in vegetables. And fiber in grains, it's excessive. And it also causes you to have some unpleasant effects, and your body struggles to process as much because you actually need just a few to help your digestion. If I was to ask you, if you only have to eat twice a day, how would that make you feel? I'll let you guys answer. Move to another slide. All right, I'm going to move to another slide if you still want to answer that question. So one of the best things of saying goodbye to grains is allowing your body to be in the best and healthiest mode ever. And it will last for a long time. You will also have no problems with digestion. And you will never need to be on a diet again, because as long as your meals are low carb, you're eating healthy fats and proteins, you will always have energy available. You will not have inflammation and any negative things happening to your body. You will not have allergic reactions you might not even be aware of right now. And you can achieve long-term health. So how many carbs do you need to function? Remember I said glucose, we need glucose for our brain? We need just a teaspoon of sugar. That's how much we need, 5 grams of carbs. And Maria says relieved. I love it. She would feel relieved if she didn't have to eat too many times a day. So if you have certain goals, for example, to lose weight or to maintain your weight or to gain weight, you could follow these directions and you will feel awesome. The optimal amount of carbs for your diet should be under 150 grams a day. And I'm going to give you an example. 150 grams on standard American diet would mean 4 slices of pizza or 3 bagels or a pound of cooked pasta. That's a lot of pasta. And in comparison, 150 grams of carbs on a primal lifestyle, it would mean 5 pounds of broccoli. I don't think you can eat it a day. 30 zucchinis, you can feed an army, or 5 heads of cauliflower. And those are the carbs, the good carbs. So optimal amount for weight loss would be keeping your carbs low, under 50 grams, keep eating good fats, eating lean proteins, and lots of green vegetables. The brighter the veggie, the more carbs it has. So if you're trying to lose weight fast, you should probably avoid fruits for a while. The optimal amount for weight maintenance would be under 100 grams of carbs. It's the same for weight loss, same guidelines, but you can also add a bit of more carby vegetables, like sweet potatoes and root veggies. Just don't overdo it. And if you're training hard and you're trying to gain muscle, you're very active, you can incorporate some sweet potatoes and quinoa and white rice, as long as you don't have any bad reactions to them, as an additional carbohydrate source. They also, here's a secret: if you put them in the fridge and don't eat them right away, cool them off, they turn into super starch or resistant starch, and that's really good for you. So the good carbs and the bad carbs, what are they? Good carbs are majority of vegetables. If you exclude white potatoes, corn, and legumes that have a lot of phytates and a lot of carbs. And carbs in terms of grams in them, and green veggies have way less. And if you use bad carbs, those are all grain-based carbs, and all the processed foods, all the packaged foods made with wheat and corn, rye and barley. So if you need to distinguish which carbs are good for you. For example, if you want to have pasta, you can make awesome zucchini noodle dish. Or you can, if you ever tried cauliflower mash, you'll probably not eat mashed potatoes again, knowing what's healthier for you, what would be a better choice for you. Another thing to try. So what about the fats? Saturated fats are not bad for you. You heard me saying the word fat, and you probably saying she's crazy. She's talking about eating fat. Yes, but you need to know there are good fats and there are bad fats. Saturated fats come from a good source. Why, Marie? I'll answer your question about potatoes in just a bit. And trans fats are bad, other fats are good. As long as many foods we're eating, protein-based foods have fat. For example, meat and fish and eggs. And there are pure fats like olive oil and avocado oil. There are also some great nuts like macadamia and walnuts. Some seeds have some good fats. If you were to choose good fats, you need to avoid vegetable oils and industrial oils, canola oils, and soybean oils. Those are the worst ones for you, and many packaged foods have them too. Remember we talked about carbs plus fats? That's where it gets you. You eat that bag of Cheez-Its and has both carbs and fats. Too much of both. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more, we're not going to be talking about it much today, about saturated fats and low fats. You can read this awesome guy. Ancel Keys is not so awesome. He kind of screwed up research in the past, and that's why we're fed the myth of low fat and high carbs. And you can read Gary Taubes and Rob Wolf. They're very interesting works published by them. Yeah. How can you eliminate grains without, feeling it and suffering? There are 3 methods I would like to recommend. And you don't have to try them in this order. You can try eliminating, replacing carbs, or adding fat. So if you were to choose to eliminate all the grains from your diet, this is probably the hardest method because people are so hooked on grains. We're used to have a side dish with grains. But I call it all the way method. It's for people who are all or nothing and they can't stand doing things like partially. And if you try it, just stick to it, drink plenty of water, eat good sources of protein and fat, and see how you feel. Try it for a couple of weeks. Another method is a little bit more mild. You can start replacing processed grains with green vegetables and add root and starchy vegetables if you're a very active athlete. You should slowly work your way to replace all the sides with vegetables instead of your normal grains. This method is one step at a time. If you're that type of person, that's for you. You probably should try to lower your fat intake if your carbs are higher than recommended and increase vegetable side portion just to say goodbye to those grains. And adding fat, one of the methods actually my students like a lot. For the first 2 weeks, I allow them to eat whatever they want. If they were trying to lose weight, it works perfectly because you start eating good butter and avocado and ghee without counting calories, and all you eat on the side, you focus on the fats, and you add some nuts and seeds, you add a lot of green vegetables. And that's how you rock. When they say eat bacon, that's the secret. And also don't be scared of the word fat, because it has a bad connotation because people are not informed. But also fat is good for you when your carbs are low. So what about your treats, you'll ask me? You can have your treats. Just make sure you enjoy majority of your meals, and if you decide to have a treat, indulge and don't feel guilty. As long as it's along your goals, if it fits your goals, you should be fine. Create a better version of the treat. Look up some low carb recipes or paleo recipes or primal recipes and try that. They're not always chalky bad, terrible tasting foods. Also try some berries, nuts, and protein instead, not mixed together. No, just as a snack, try to experiment with your snacks. So what are the benefits of low carb living and grain free living? You would definitely lose fat. You would stay full. You can reduce inflammation in your body, and that will help and prevent you from getting sick all the time. Your skin will look much better, and your hormones will be in check. But also in the long run, it helps to optimize your genes. It helps to destroy those old, that old thinking of, well, my mom is kind of obese, that I might be too. No, you can reprogram your systems by eating well and eating healthy. But you can also promote longevity of life, and all of us would like that. How to succeed? If you decide to take one of the three steps, go all the way, or learn the art of small steps. You should know why you're doing this, exactly why, and what motivates you to do these things, to change your lifestyle, to change your diet. You should give yourself a time frame, because if you're about to start in 2 years, you may never start. And be proud of your journey. You're doing it for yourself. You should also understand your why. Besides from your health goal, what motivates you most? Would you like to be stronger? Would you like to be faster? Can you chase your kid? Would you like to be able to support your spouse when you're old? And do some research. There are a few names if you want to take notes, um, to publish some great work. And once you're informed, you will feel better. You will understand more behind the concepts. Oh, you can try something new as well. You can try new meats, you can try new oils, you can try new cooking methods. And one of the things people actually enjoy a lot, that's intermittent fasting, eating only within a certain window. And joy. This is the most important thing. I don't want my students to feel deprived, and I don't want you to feel deprived, because it's not fun if you feel like you're on a diet. That's not why we do it. There are a couple of names of my favorite bloggers, recipe bloggers. They have awesome recipes for you to try if you'd like that. If you don't know where to start, those are my go-to sources. You can also track your macros for better results if you're a very specific person. And you should ask the question. You don't have to answer this for me. I want you to ask it, and I want you to answer it for yourself. What can you do for yourself today, starting today? So today you learned what's good and bad about grains. I hope I didn't overwhelm you with all this information. What processed carbs do to your body? That's what you learned. I hope so. How to optimize your nutrition to reach your goals, whether you're trying to lose weight or just manage your mood swings or fix your hormones. What are the benefits of low carb living? And I share plenty of those with you. I hope you can experience them as well. And there are also 3 ways to say goodbye to carbs and feel awesome. So your next steps, you can try the methods above. You can identify your goals and align your nutrition accordingly. You can also enjoy your favorite meals daily and make them low carb. Let me know how it goes. You can also educate yourself more and let me know if I can help. So this is how I can help you. you can get my library of resources and start learning a little bit more. You can read my blog posts, my guest posts. You can also always shoot me a message on Facebook or email me or find me on Instagram and tag me. I would love to see what you post. And here's your little bonus. If you know someone who could benefit from my coaching services, you yourself, you can get your $50 off your first month of one-on-one coaching. I only take a few clients right now, so if you really care about someone, you can let them know. I promise no sales pitch at the end of this webinar. This is something I'd like to do for you or your family or your close friend. If you know someone, you can let them know and send me a message now. Now let's talk about what questions you guys have. I have a few people watching me. Maria, she also answered a question that she would feel relieved and won't have to plan my trips to the mall around mealtimes. Maria doesn't like to pack her food. Why are white potatoes so bad? Maria, white potatoes are heavily starchy. So if you have a goal of weight loss, white potatoes cause a lot of inflammation. The way they're produced, they're mass produced. And the better option would be to eat sweet potatoes because they're anti-inflammatory. I hope that answers the questions. Maybe see someone else watching. Can you guys hear me still? I can't send you a question, apparently. It blocks me from sending questions. Hi, Tom. Thank you for joining. Do you have any questions? I know you're a coach. Maybe you have some questions about my methods of coaching. That's fine. I appreciate you joining, Tom. Apparently, I can't type. I hope you guys can hear me. Say yes if you can hear me. Yeah, you can hear me. So Maria is asking me about why organic white potatoes. Organic are better if you, anything is better, organic ones. I'm not a big fan of organic, I'll be honest with you. But anything is better whenever you're eating veggies with skin. Let's say you eat strawberries, that would be a better option for you to eat it organic. And purple potatoes are better than white potatoes. Anything white is usually, unless it's cauliflower or onions, is pretty heavy in carbs. But if you don't want to lose weight, you can eat some potatoes. And as I mentioned in the presentation, that would be under 150 grams of carbs, because anything else will top off your glycogen stores and will be stored to fat. And Tom says, it's amazing not to be bound to meal times ever. I hear you, Tom. I really like not having breakfast. I hated eating breakfast. Oh, wow. One that that Maria heard me. Okay. Maria, I hope I answered your question. Tom says he's gone day and a half without eating and didn't have to eat because of hunger. I eat because I love eating. That's fantastic. And actually, Tom, I eat exactly like you do. I eat 2 meals a day and one snack when I feel like it or when I train. Any other questions? I'll give you guys a few minutes because I have a delay. All right. Well, thank you. I really appreciate you guys coming. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you give it a try. Some things I taught you today. Thank you. Bye, guys.